Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today we're going to make a pleated incline ice dye. So it looks like this shirt has been turned inside out, and I'm going to start by centering the shirt using the sleeve inside the other sleeve technique. So I'm using my washable marker to mark out the center points, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck one sleeve inside the other sleeve. Then I'm going to line up the seams in the underarm and along the shoulder. And then I'm going to shake it and try to smooth it out the best I can. And I'm going to bring the back of the shirt and the front of the shirt together, and this creates symmetry, and it's called centering the shirt. This way your pattern will be the same on the front side and the back side. And I hate centering shirts, you guys. It's, difficult. And this shirt doesn't have any side seams, so it almost kind of makes it a little bit more difficult because it's sort of hard to line up. So this one took me quite a while, and I bumped the camera with my bun, and it got kind of messed up, but just take your time with it, and it takes a lot of practice. And since I make so many spirals, I'm honestly not that great at this step, so it takes me quite a while. So that looks pretty good. It's going to be an ice dye, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect because ice dyeing is pretty forgiving. If it was going to be liquid, you would want to make sure it was right on. And now I'm just going to use my washable marker to mark out my pattern. The next step is to pleat up your shirt, and I'm making these pleats about an inch, inch and a half. And you just want to pleat along that line that you drew and make that line as straight as possible. As I'm editing this, I'm noticing that I'm spending a lot of time trying to get the sleeves nice and pleated. Don't do that to yourself. Focus mostly on getting that line that you drew nice and straight, and then begin to secure it. And I'm going to use rubber bands for this one, my second favorite rubber bands, and it's going to get messed up as you secure it. So focus on the pleats when you get to it. Just keep it really easy on yourself. When you're placing your rubber bands, you want to open them up and you want to drag them along the table underneath the shirt. That's how they slide under really easy. It takes a little bit of practice. Sometimes they want to bump around and get snagged up, but as long as you're sliding them along the table, they go on pretty easy. So this method is going to be the dye over ice method. So I've placed the shirt down inside of a gutter, and I got a big long piece of gutter. I think it's 9-10 feet. Next time I go into Lowe's, I'll have to pay attention. And then I just use a Sawzall and I cut it down into manageable size pieces. And I've placed it inside of a tote, and I have one end of it up on the edge of the tote, creating the incline. So one side is up on the tote and the other is down in the tote. And so as the ice melts, it's just going to melt into the tote. And since the ice is on top of my shirt and I can't see it, I've used the clothespins to mark out where I want to place my dye. Well, out of the view of the camera, I am adding electric blue to the top of the sleeve. So that's how I have it placed in the gutter. The center fold is down at the bottom of the gutter, and the sleeve part of the shirt is at the top. And you'll be able to see it at the end at the reveal. So after the first layer of ice melted, I came back and I checked it, and I probably should have just left well alone, but there was still quite a bit of undissolved dye, so I gave it a quick little sprinkle of soda ash, and I added a second layer of ice, and then I let it batch for 48 hours after the ice melted. And the reason I'm going for 48 hours is I live in Oregon, and it's still only about 65 degrees. So I want maximum vibrancy, and I want the dye to have a chance to bond with the fibers. So I know many of you are tired of listening to me explain the rinse out process, but you guys, there are a ton of brand new tie-dyers and they need to hear this. So bear with me. Okay, so you want to start by using cold water, and that's going to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the fabric, and then increase your water up to hot and rinse until the water runs pretty much clear. The reason for getting the soda ash out of the shirt first is because you don't want the dark colors to redeposit onto your light colors and have back staining. And then the hot water is going to remove all the unbonded dye, and it's going to go down the drain instead of into your washing machine. And I wash many shirts at a time, so if I didn't do this step, I'd have a whole bunch of soda ash and a whole bunch of shirts redepositing on each other, making a muddy mess. So I usually do about 2 hot water cycles using Kirillon, and that's a professional textile detergent that I get from Dharma. And then I do a 3rd and final hot water cycle using Millsoft, and I also get that from Dharma, and I have links for them down below in the description box, along with everything else that I use for tie-dye, so go ahead and check that out. And then I'll throw them in the dryer, and I'll iron them, and we'll come back and we'll see the results. Well, here it is after it's been washed and dried, and I think this shirt turned out super cool. I really love the way the lime pop looks. So you can see the dye placement. So I started with electric blue down the center, and then at the end I finished with the sleeves. And you can tell which direction the incline is going by which direction it's streaking. So the center line was down at the bottom of the gutter, and see how the streaks flow into the center line. Now remember I said I could have left well alone. Well, if you rewind and you go and look at it after the first layer of ice, the center looked really vibrant. After the second layer of ice, it sort of washed everything together, and the lime pop kind of disappeared. So Not always is a second layer of ice necessary. As long as you have good saturation down through the center and along the back, because there's undissolved dye on the top doesn't mean you have to do a second layer of ice. Next time I make one, I'll just go with one layer of ice and we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing.